For International Superman Day today, James Gunn gifted us with some BTS behind the scenes for his upcoming Superman movie. And I think that their marketing strategy for this movie has been nothing but pure perfection. Essentially, in this behind the scenes footage, we don't really get any full shots from the movie, but you get a lot of what's going on behind the camera and shots of like his cape bellowing and shots of David Cornsweet holding up a bus. And at first glance, to maybe someone a little bit more cynical, it's like, okay, we want more footage from the movie. We want to know what the movie's about. But the reason why I love this behind the scenes that they're showing is because they're giving you a chance to sit down with the actors of the film and listen to them tell stories about why they love this character so much. You have Rachel Brosnahan, who's playing Lois Lane, talking about how Superman has always been a symbol of hope. And he's always been this optimistic symbol for humanity, and how we haven't really had that in a long time, not since the Richard Donner Superman movies. You have David Cornsweet talking about how much this character means to him, and you have Nicholas Hoult talking about how much that character means to him, and you have Nathan Fillion talking about how important this character is. But above all else, all the other actors on set can't help but talk about how important this movie is to the director, James Gunn, and how he is such a great person to work with, and how he refused to make this movie for a paycheck. He would not make it until the right idea came along, and he had something that he really wanted to say with the character that he thought would resonate with the rest of the audience showing up to see this movie. And that's exactly what we need with somebody like Superman, because at the end of the day, Superman is a character that has gotten a lot of hate over the last couple of decades because of how OP he is. My close friend John, whom I make movies with, does not like Superman because it's just like, how could you make a movie compelling about a man that could literally deflect bullets off his chest? He's invincible. He has every power under the sun. He is OP, and there's no threat when it comes to him. And I thought that the TV show Superman and Lois that was just on the CW really tackled that idea in a way that was really genius. Whereas he is the Man of Steel. He can deflect bullets, but no powers in the world will make him a good father. And how does somebody like Superman tackle that? And that's what made the show so well received by fans, because at the end of the day, it was a very grounded story about being a good father and a good husband. And I'm really curious to see what James Gunn is going to do here. I mean, we got the trailer with the Minecraft movie that showed off that scene where a lot of people complained that Zack Snyder's Superman was able to withstand anything, yet this Superman showed up to the Fortress of Solitude with a bunch of broken bones and then was crying like a little girl when the radiation of the sun hit him. Which, if we're being honest, the fact that they started off that trailer showing Superman in pain, that was James Gunn answering the decade-long question of how could you make a compelling Superman story where the guy can't get hurt? Well, clearly in James Gunn's universe, he can. And when he goes to the Fortress of Solitude to heal, it's painful. He has all these broken bones that are now healing themselves and uncracking themselves to put themselves back in the right position. It probably hurts really bad, and it sets the groundwork that this Superman can get hurt, and I think that that's really smart. And going back to the stuff that we got today, the behind the scenes, the reason why I love hearing all of these actors talk about how much they love this character so much is because, look, at the end of the day, an actor is somebody that is paid to come in and bring something to life, to bring a character to life. It's a gig, and I don't fault anyone for taking a gig for the money. There are so many actors that have come in to play superheroes that don't actually love the superhero. It's just a means for them to get money. Going all the way back to Christopher Reeves taking the role of Superman, he did not grow up being a fan of Superman. He said in interviews, I did it for the money, and I did it because I thought it would advance my career to the next level. And I don't fault anyone for that, because look, at the end of the day, an actor, they start off a kid that ultimately winds up watching a movie that affects them on such an emotional level that they turn around and go, I want to do that myself. I want to act. I want to embody a character and give that feeling of awe and wonder to some other little kid 20 years from now. And they grow up and they become an actor or an actress, and they take jobs that they think is resonant and gives them something deep to work within, and they take it for the money because that is their job. So I don't fault somebody for taking a role even though they don't necessarily love the character. But you look at somebody like Tom Holland, who grew up a little boy dressing up as Spider-Man, running around his backyard, doing front flips off of his deck, shooting fake webs at people, and how much he loves that character, it almost becomes wish fulfillment to grow up and get to portray that character on the big screen in front of millions of other little kids that love the character. And they bring an extra level of heart to the role that somebody that doesn't love the character isn't going to bring. Yes, everybody loves Christopher Reeves as Superman. Everybody loves Chris Evans as Captain America. America. Everyone loves Robert Pattinson as Batman and Christian Bale as Batman, but Christian Bale did not give a shit about Batman. He just didn't. He did it because he wanted a paycheck, big blockbuster movie, and Christopher Nolan had a script that genuinely intrigued him. It was a good story, even if you took the Batman costume off. But now you couple that with this new Superman movie coming out, and David Cornsweet was a Superman fan. James Gunn was a Superman fan. And all of these characters that they cast in the film were genuinely Superman fans. So if nothing else, I know that at the end of the day, this movie is going to have a ton of performances in it that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise if they didn't cast people that absolutely love these characters. It's going to come with an extra level of sincerity because all of these people are genuinely excited to be there with or without the paycheck. Obviously, they need the paycheck. They have bills to pay, but it's not just about the paycheck. It's about fulfilling a lifelong dream of growing up to become the hero that you always looked up to. There's so much hate on the internet surrounding this Superman project, and I'm sure anyone that is watching this video right now has seen it, but the movie fandom that watches YouTube videos online and follows comic book movies as closely as we do is a very tiny bubble. It's like 10% of the overall movie-going audience. So if you see a lot of people complaining about this Superman movie online, it is not going to negatively impact the movie as a whole. I do think that this movie is going to do well, and I think that they're marketing it really brilliantly by just showing how much love went into this project. And look, at the end of the day, I loved Man of Steel. I did. I really enjoyed that movie. I watched the Snyder Cut probably 400 times. I really enjoy it. But at the end of the day, Zack Snyder wanted to create a very cynical Superman in a very cynical world surrounded by people that don't like him, and how does that affect this Superman? And he was a very moody, brooding Superman. And it was a very well shot movie. You can't say that Zack Snyder's movies don't look like they're stripped right off the comic book pages and brought into real life. He makes them all look so epic, especially with the deep, dark shadows and contrasts of those movies. But it was a very dark and dour and sour world that Zack Snyder brought us in. And the fact that James Gunn is bringing us this bright world with very blue and red colors, it just makes it feel so optimistic and hopeful. And like I said, I love the Zack Snyder films, but that was not the Superman that I grew up watching. That was not the animated show. That was not all the comic books. This feels like the true depiction of what Superman from the comics was. This uplifting, hopeful guy that just wants to do the right thing and is a choir boy. And I, for one, am ready to see that again. And if the behind the scenes footage and all the trailers have showed me one thing, it's that I'm going to get the bright beacon of light that I've wanted since the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, and I cannot wait to get those back. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Did you like the behind the scenes stuff that James Gunn gave us today on Superman Day? Are you excited to see this Superman movie, or are you skeptical about it the way that every other Man of Steel fan is? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. And as always, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you next time.